All right, so final piece to this video. I made two videos prior. One was the pre-race, another was the race. And this one is like the after race, like what are my lessons out of that crazy race right there. Well, first, when I started this race, what were my expectations? Was it like this was going to be the hardest thing that I ever done? No, that was probably my 80-kilometer race. Why? Because of the time. The time of my 80-kilometer race was like 16 or 18 hours. I forgot. It was in the mountains, so uphill. Risk of injury was really high. So this one had a bunch of circumstances and like unknown variables kind of, so I didn't think that it was that hard. But this race, let me tell you, it was just like it was like swimming nonstop. That's how it felt. So first, did I have my ultra patience mindset that I developed after my 80-kilometer race, which is like no complaining, no nada? Yes, I did complain at a reasonable rate. Like it wasn't like overwhelming, but it was, yeah, the kid inside me was suffering quite a lot. So maybe more carbs, maybe like stop and have some gels. I saw some guys, they packed up some gels in their belt. And the question is like, are they putting these gels back to in their pants, or are they like throwing them in the ocean? Let's hope that they didn't throw in the ocean. So yeah, maybe to avoid that, second, follow people, right, and draft in their swim. I didn't do that a lot. It was like me against the waves. So that's probably why I expected 2 to 3x. I'm extremely satisfied with my results, knowing that I didn't draft and I didn't swim in anyone's back, or like like I swam counter waves, and that made it hard. Was that my goal? No, my goal, all humans' goal, is always to avoid suffering. But I'm glad that it ended up there because my mindset got boosted as a result. Right? It was extremely hard. It wasn't the hardest thing though. Yeah, that 80-kilometer race, just the time, and running in the dark, all by myself. I had some stomach GI issues as well. I didn't have that in the race. But let me tell you, like in the 80-kilometer race, I think I finished dead last or before a couple of people. But I had this guy closing off the race, and that's a fun thing, like these people that are closing the race, whatever you want to call them, they're dream breakers, they're your enemies almost, and that's how you need to treat them when you race. So I began swimming faster. When the first guy told me that, I began to run quicker when the guy told me he was closing the race at kilometer 80, and obviously that spikes the cortisol. Other than that, the cortisol is not usually super high in these races, especially with my mindset. I have my shit together since quite a while, especially compared to most humans. And in that regards, they might suffer most than I do, right? If they're like tortured beings that swim for 2 hours and they're torturing themselves mentally for 2 hours, then yeah, they might not have a good time. Most like hyper competitive people are like that. Also, when they swim 2 hours, they go like full throttle, right? There's no like 107 BPM like myself. Me, I'm just cruising. Maybe because that's my limit. So defining pain is hard. Also, I'd love to just quantify it scientifically, measure cortisol and what goes on in there. But let's say that it delivered. This race, it fucking delivered. It's like it delivered like solid 8, if not 8.5 on 10 pain. If 9 is like injury type of, let's call it my Ironman Cozumel, when I finished the last 15-ish kilometers limping. I was like really high anxiety, really high pain because I didn't know if I would finish a race. Um, but yeah, just to know, just another one, right? These are hell of stories. And today, I'm not like reflecting fully on all of that. You might have noted from my video that I'm somewhat negative. This might be because I'm calorie depleted. This might be because I'm anxious in this life right now somehow. Um, so derive whatever lessons you want from these videos. Is it part that Charles is, yeah, somewhat negative? Is it part that Charles is the organization was not top? Maybe there was both in there. Um, I will do some other of these videos and these 10Ks. I'd love to do 15 or 20Ks. Um, I'm gonna see to that, and obviously I'm gonna come more prepared to these events. Um, Mostly in terms of navigation, I'm gonna buy a navigational watches, that are made for open water swims with a map and a course that I'm gonna exactly follow. I'm pretty sure these watches they can also calculate the current currents. Um, I'm also gonna follow the herd. I'm gonna start at the back of the pack to avoid the major anxiety spike. But yeah, I did very well. And let me get back to the key moment in here, which is the core of this and life and all these videos. The thought of abandoning, the thought of abandoning, guys, that's a really, really deep one. Really, really deep one. Because when I climbed the world's toughest mountain, Pico de Orizaba, well, in Mexico, sorry. Like all odds were stacked against me. My feet were frozen. My whole body was cold. So I was fearing hypothermia, which I didn't expect, because it's only like -1. Um, Again, I was totally underprepared. Maybe my equipment, my shirts were not heating. Well, they warned me, right? But I mean, I still did it. So that's my rebel self. I'm a fucking rebel, guys, and most entrepreneurs are. We don't follow the rules ever, and that's lesson one. But coming back to this, it was cold. I was tired. It's pure uphill, pure uphill, and I was tired. So that's like the trifecta. That is like usually enough um, to get someone to quit. So that was on my own, right? I didn't have no one telling me to quit, but I was like really the guy. He stopped me right to put my crampons because we were hitting the tougher section, but he might have warned me that this was the tough section. So maybe that was a fourth element there. But I was really thinking about quitting. I was really close to say to him like, you know what? And by the way, we were like 2 or 3 hours in the 6 or 7 hours ascension. That was fucking intense shit. Oh, and by the way, if you would have had a fifth element, oxygen depletion, right? When you're at these altitudes, you're like, it's like if you were high, it's somewhat in a bad trip the whole time. So you're like really unsure of like, yeah, it's you're an alien. If you would want to add a sixth thing there, the view, us humans were like very much visual creatures. The landscape is very alien, just like swimming in these conditions is very alien. To have a lot of depth, we're not used to that. So with all of these conditions, I really was near to say like, you know what, guys, let's come back. Vamos a regresar. Hay que regresar. Now you might ask the question, why didn't I say that? Did I say it mentally? No. But I was asking myself, should we say it? So that's the first step. So first I think and I do not speak. I love silence as a guy. I don't consider my brain, I don't consider this monkey to be me. So I don't externalize what my weaker me is saying in there. It's evaluating. It's like, and it really has few power, this primal self. That's one. Two, my usual rule, generally speaking, is just to continue. Okay, let's just continue and see what's up. See if that monkey is right. Let's give it like 5-15 minutes, because the short-term self is never your best self. It's like really your reactive self. So, and there you go. In that case, I continued climbing. After 10, 15, 20 minutes, I was warmer, although I was cold for quite a while. I think it was more like an hour 30, 2 hours. The other elements didn't disappear, by the way. Maybe I got hotter, but yeah, because the sun was coming up. It was also the night, which is just another element. Um, But yeah, these moments, they're just like epic. They define my life, actually. They really do. And what are these other moments in life, in which you were about to quit? You were like two fingers close to quitting. We humans have typically a lot of these moments, whether it is we get a lot of hate online in my case, or not making enough money with that venture. That's what's defining us. So I saw some time ago people like praising the quitting culture. Yeah, fuck these people, generally speaking. They don't know anything about what they're talking about. They're just justifying their own weakness. I mean, when quitting is obvious, it's when your rational self is obvious, right? Let's see if my order is coming. Oh yeah, it's there. I need to stop that one. Let's stop it to this because I need to pick up my order, but only when the facts are telling you to stop that you're stopping. Never let your monkey self dictate the decisions there. You stop when I say we stop, when the rational mind say we stop, when the coach say we stop. We stop when we reach our objectives. If not, we recalibrate the objectives. But some people, they're like, yeah, quit more, quit faster. Fuck these guys. And I won't name anyone because I've got like a specific author which I particularly don't like, which I'll probably invite to my pod because he's probably a better human being than I think he is. But it's all this weak advice out there. Quit this, quit that. Nah, man. Have many experiments on the table, right? Just like I do. I do these open swims, these Ironmans, but once you have something in place, you don't fucking quit. That's a plan to have never have any success. And the irony here is that these same authors will tell you like, oh, don't have these experiments, have focus, right? Have focus and quit fast. No, it's not how it works. You try many things, you have focus in each, you get to the bottom of each, you make a scientific experiment, and then once it's done, then you analyze. You don't analyze while you're doing the thing. So I'm going to make another of these videos because I feel inspired today, um, to finalize that lesson on that swim there when the guy told me, yeah, you should quit, you should come on the boat. Yeah, dude, you're going to see about that.